Mollie, thank you for your time. It's been a fairly busy couple of months for you in regards to rugby. How's the body holding up?
It's good. It's holding up. It's been a really long couple of months, and my training's gone from easy, nice spread out, and it's just been jam-packed now at the moment. I'm training 5 days, six days a week, probably 3 in there like double sessions, so it's holding out though.
Congratulations, Mollie, on being named in the Wallaroos squad earlier this year. Tell me, what's that moment like when you receive the news that you've been picked to represent your country?
It was probably one of the most exciting moments. A lot of people found out before I did though, because it was announced on a closed Facebook page and I didn't have Facebook at the time. So I was getting text messages from all these people saying congratulations, and I still hadn't actually seen it. So I had to wait for a picture message to come in with a screenshot of the page for someone to send that to me. So it was really funny. It was stressful, but it was so exciting. I was, over the moon.
You've not long returned home from a tour to New Zealand. Tell me about that experience.
It was definitely one of a kind experience, but also one of the most stressful things I've ever done. But it was there was so much going on in such a short amount of time that my emotions were kind of all over the place. It was definitely one of the proudest moments of my life. I can't compare it to anything that I've done so far. But,
it was also your first chance to pull on a Wallaroos jumper. That must have been a fairly special moment. Yeah,
it was. The first time I've ever represented my country in a sport, and it was, there's nothing like it. Walking out there and singing the national anthem arm in arm with all your teammates, it's definitely one of the best feelings. And I had my mum flew over as well to watch all the games, so that was really great as well. I was really proud and just exciting.
The next tournament for the Wallaroos is the 2014 Women's Rugby World Cup in France. It's no doubt a massive occasion. How are the emotions going into it?
Nervous. I'm really nervous at the moment. Going into something like this that I've never been to before, kind of like walking into a dark room really. But I've got a lot of people around me who have been to the World Cup before, so I am getting a lot of information, a lot of little tips from them, so it's not as daunting as what it could be. I'm so excited though. We're 3 weeks out and it's getting there, it's getting close.
What's the feeling like in the squad at the moment going into the World Cup?
There's a lot of, it's pretty much excitement mostly. I think coming out of New Zealand with our 2 losses under our belts, we were feeling a little bit disheartened on how we played, but I think we've come back, we've regrouped, we've thought about what we've done and now what we need to do to get there. So I think everyone's feeling really determined. We have a point to prove now, so.
There seems to be a real mix of youth and experience in the squad. What sort of influence has the senior players had on the younger members and on yourself?
The Wallaroos they've put a big focus into team culture, and we have a lot of pillars that we're standing by at the moment. So the culture of the team is really great. We've got to create something ourselves because we have such a mixture of young and old. The older girls are accepting of all the new girls, which is great because sometimes you have a bit of a pecking order, but everyone's really open and everyone's really accepting.
At the 2010 World Cup, the Wallaroos finished 3rd. What are the chances like of going all the way this year?
I think they're high. Currently we're 12th, but that's purely because we haven't played since the last World Cup. I think a lot of people don't know how we're going to go because of our 2 losses in New Zealand, but I think the way we played against New Zealand, that's going to put us up there for a podium finish again. We fought really hard the whole way through that game, and there were just little bits and pieces that we messed up where they got around us. So we know what we need to do. We know how hard we need to go. So our coaches and everyone in the team we're all really confident that we can get third or higher. You know, we're aiming for one.
You've been part of the Australian Services Rugby Union team for a number of years now. You play for Army, you also play for Newcastle Uni, now the Wallaroos. What is it about rugby that you love?
I think it's the culture. I think it's a really, really, really good culture. The girls are always so great. I've been really lucky that I've played in so many different states as well, so I've got to experience so many different types of rugby. I started in Darwin, and that's a real physical sort of game, and then I went to Brisbane where it's more technical, and now I've come to Newcastle, back again where we're in the physical sort of game, and same with Army as well. But it's definitely a culture, and it's really great to see how new girls can come along and they can spend 2 weeks training and playing, and they'll go from here to here in their experience level. So you can get far in a short amount of time. That's what I really love about it. I think we pick it up really well.
If you can, take me back to the beginning. How did you get involved with playing rugby?
I rocked up to a training session at school when I was about 17. I was a swimmer back in high school, and I rocked up and I threw the ball around and I got tackled, and I thought, this is awful. What am I doing here? And I never came back ever, and I said I wouldn't do it. I joined the Army when I was 18, and I moved away to Darwin, and a friend of mine was going down and training, and she invited me down, and I went along, and I still sucked at throwing the ball and and all that sort of stuff. But my first game I went out there, and I think the first couple of games you play are always the most exciting because you've got no idea what you're doing, so you don't second guess yourself, you just dive in and just beat people up basically. So that's where it started. I just went out there, had a blinder of a game. I got man of the match in my first game. I have no idea why, but and it kind of just went from there. From there I got invited to go to a tour, on a tour to New Zealand, and then it just kind of jumped and jumped and jumped, and here I am now.
It's also a real family affair too, I believe, in that you've got a brother and sister who also play.
Yeah, so my first tour that I went to New Zealand, my brother was on that as well. So we both went away with the Army team. So that was really fun. I don't know what he thought about taking his younger sister on tour with him. But and then a couple of years later, our younger sister, she joined the Army, and I got her involved, and her first game was against me. So that was a bit of fun, a bit of sibling rivalry as well. So, but we've all been involved with it now for the last about 6 years. Okay. Yeah.
Given that rugby runs in the family, you guys must have had some interesting backyard battles over the years.
If you call fighting. My sister and I didn't really have much to do with rugby. Like I said, I was a swimmer at high school. Pretty much all my childhood was in a pool, and so was hers. It was Josh that was the footy player his whole life. So, we didn't really have much to do with it. But my mum played, so we were little ball boys basically for her games. We were there every weekend watching it, and that was about as much as I had to do with rugby. But I always said that I wanted to be like my mum and I wanted to play football.
You're still relatively young now. What does the future hold with rugby?
Well, immediate future, World Cup. My 2-year plan is hopefully to get selected for the Sevens. That's my next goal. And then, they're going to the Olympics in 2 years, so we'll see.
Well, Mollie, all the best for the World Cup. Play well, and thanks for chatting this afternoon.
Thank you so much.